You know what's up. It's Sweet Dan with comic reviews.
Cool.
There's nothing about you I find tantalizing. On the contrary, I find you obvious and vulgar.
Part of what goes on at the Outhouse are comic book reviews. And the house comic book reviewer, Sweet Dan Sweet. He's talking Dark Wolverine and Amazing Spider-Man 638.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. I'm being joined by
Sweet Dan Sweet,
which can only mean it's time for
Sweet Talking Comic Reviews.
That's right, with Sweet Dan Sweet
And Comic Book Man.
And Comic Book Man from Alternate Realities Video Outhouse, coming to you from the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are 15% off, including comic books that are the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, or the in between of the this and that, and the things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
We've got 2 books up this week. It's another theme show. 2 books up. Amazing Spider-Man number, what is that? 638. The first part of One Moment in Time. And Dark Wolverine number 88, which is the first part of the, what is it? Punishment storyline. Both of these storylines are going to wrap up the series in some way or another.
It's really exciting.
Dark Wolverine is wrapping up, and this is going to wrap up the whole Frank Castle-Dakin thing. This is going to wrap up the whole One Moment in Time. Of course, Amazing Spider-Man will continue, but this is going to wrap up the One Moment in Time storyline. And Marvel has said that after this storyline is over with, we are done referring to One Moment in Time. We are what we are, and we're not going to be talking about it anymore. We are in Spidey continuity. Period. Yeah. Okay, which do you want to start with?
Let's start with the top one.
Top one, which is Dark Wolverine.
Yeah!
Punishment Part 1. So what's going on? Frank Castle's finally going to get some retribution, huh?
Well, after Dark ran the list Punisher,
yes,
where Norman Osborn sent Dakin after Frank,
yeah,
and that ended with Dakin making cold cuts of Frank. With
heads and arms and legs flew off.
Piles of limbs.
Yeah.
That were stolen away by Moloids into the sewers, and the Legion of Monsters reattached them and put them back together with some steampunk generator sort of stuff, and he becomes Frankencastle.
And now some of you at home watching this might be saying to yourselves, "What?"
It's awesome.
At which point I can say to you is, "Show up more often."
Yeah, seriously, it's good stuff. You're missing good comics. I didn't so much follow Dark Wolverine after the changeover. The character didn't really matter much to me. I enjoyed his interaction with Punisher, and I enjoyed him on the Dark Avengers. I didn't need to follow his solo adventures, but when I heard that the culmination of both this series and Frankencastle was coming to a head, I had to get involved. I had to see what was going on. Excuse me. So I pick up the issue.
Yeah.
I start flipping through it.
Yeah.
And it is violent.
Yes.
It is almost non-stop, wall-to-wall fist fight, blood, guts, action, stuff like that.
Punches in the head?
Punches in the head. Actually, you want to know what's really cool?
What?
For a title character,
yeah,
he doesn't job out to Punisher. I'm sorry, he does job out to Punisher.
Okay.
He gets his ass kicked.
Okay.
Like, he is in an elevator, which Frank is on top of, and he cuts the cord, and they both plummet to the bottom of the shaft.
Yeah.
He gets his arms broken. He gets thrown through walls and windows. And then he's like, at the end of the comic, he's up and running around. He's like Wolverine 2.0. His healing factor is amazing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the hell is going to happen, but I know that they are going to continue to beat the crap out of each other for 3 more issues. I am on board for that.
Well, this book jumps into part 2 in Frankencastle.
That's right.
And then it's going to jump back into part 3 with this book. So
and part 3 will be the last issue of Dark Wolverine, and then finally part 4 will be the last issue of Frankencastle.
Actually, no. Part 3 is the second from the last issue. There's going to be a 90. Which won't have anything to do with this storyline. It'll be the last part of this storyline.
I feel like my mind is being blown
There will be a Dark Wolverine number 90. I know because I just ordered it. The Dark Wolverine number 9, which will wrap up the series.
Cheater! I didn't know you knew the future when we do this. I'm gonna, that's.
We're going to the track.
Yeah, I wish. We wouldn't be doing this if I could read the future. We'd be at the track.
Steven Segovia illustrates it.
Yeah.
I hesitate to call him a poor man's Len Yu.
Okay.
But I really like Len Yu, and I really like that style, so I'm going to ride with Steven Segovia. I think he has to sort of grow into it a bit. He needs to find something that's a little bit more than Wolverine light to draw. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I'm giving this a big thumbs up. I think Frankencastle has been great. I think tying it back to what started it all is a great idea. And I'm hoping that they find something useful to do with Dakin and he can give his old man his pants back.
Okay.
Because that's Wolverine's parents.
Next up, we got Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
One Moment in Time, Part 1. It's, like I said before, it's the wrap-up of the One More Day, One Last Day, Can I Have Another Day, Give Me a $1.50 storyline that they've been doing for a couple of years now.
Do you really need some money?
Since they kicked J. Michael Straczynski's ass off the book. So anyway, whole nother story.
Big shame.
So how is this?
This was surprisingly well done. It
Why surprisingly?
Because I didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
This has been an issue with the story. One More Day, Brand New Day for almost 100 issues now.
Right.
They are after this arc goes, they do a Mark Waid, I think 4 or 5 parter, and that's the end of the Brand New Day era. I didn't understand how they were going to try to go back and change the past without disregarding everything that the creators brought to the table. What they do is, there's a framing sequence by Joe Quesada. He writes and illustrates it.
Right.
Paulo Rivera is the artist for the main portion of the story, and they actually splice in bits from the annual, Spider-Man annual, where he gets married. Amazing Spider-Man annual number 21 by Shooter and Paul Ryan.
This story is just as much from the annual as it is new.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll do a page and a half of the original book, and mid-panel, or panel to panel, they'll jump with the story. It's, from thing to thing, right into the current story with Spider-Man.
And they let you know where you're standing in continuity by the artist. And what they do is they acknowledge the past. They say everything that you read in that annual happened, only it happened slightly different, and slightly different is Spider-Man doesn't make it to the wedding.
Right.
And that's pretty much obvious because they're not married, so I didn't spoil anything for you. What's interesting is Mary Jane's reaction. She just sort of wanders off, and it's unclear at the end of the issue whether they were going to give it another shot, if she understood that he was Spider-Man, and, that sort of stuff happens, or what. So, the art, the story, it's fantastic. It's drawing to a close a huge era. This has been probably one of the most tumultuous times to be a Spider-Man fan because people either love it or they hate it.
Right.
There's really very little middle ground. And it'll be interesting to see the story be taken over by Dan Slott doing 2 issues a month instead of 3 with a rotating cast of 3 artists. So I'm excited for a new era in Spidey. I've enjoyed this one, so pick it up.
Okay. So stop off at the store's website and check out all of Dan's reviews. And where's the store's website at?
Sarah knows.
Sarah knows.
www.myalternatereality.com.
Off the store's website and read all Dan's reviews. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
And it's Sweet Dan Sweet.
Saying...
Bye!
The hero of the month this month at Alternate Reality is the Star-Spangled Avenger himself, Captain America. That's right, all my Captain America trades are 25% off all month long. Hardcovers, softcovers, masterworks, essentials, everything that's a Captain America trade paperback is 25% off all month long here at Alternate Reality.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.